Okay, so UFC 275 was this past weekend with Glover Teixeira and Yuri Prohaska being the main event, and a pretty decent card considering it wasn't really the greatest in terms of the fights on there. I felt it's a rarity, but I felt like all the three main fights on the card, the Joanna and Weili fight, the Shevchenko and Santos fight, and the Prohaska and Teixeira fight, I think they were all pretty good, to be honest. And I don't think you really ever see that. Usually it's one or two, maybe one fight's good, the other one isn't. But some great fights. Yeah, like I said, the card was pretty solid in general. I think maybe the one surprise would be Andre Fialho losing to Jake Matthews via KO in the second, which I thought was a pretty good scrap, to be fair. Nothing much really to shout about, I think, in terms of the whole card. I think I got all three predictions right in different sort of ways. I think I obviously said that I think Prohaska would KO Teixeira in the first two. He said he remarkably got a submission in the fifth. I said Shevchenko would win the decision, and she did get... Actually, no, I didn't. I said Shevchenko would stop her in the third, I think I said. And that was the case. And, I mean, it wasn't the case. It went to a decision, but she did get the win, Shevchenko. And I said that Weili would get a decision against Joanna, and she got the KO. So everything I said got flipped in a way. But still, yeah, nothing really surprising to me in those fights. Some surprising moments, I think. So if we go through the first one that we talked about with the Weili Zhang and Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight, an amazing fight, and it was pretty much round 6 of the first fight, and it kind of like it went... I won't say this way I kind of felt, but I did feel Weili with how she's been doing stuff she's been doing with Cejudo would use her wrestling more in this fight, and that's exactly what happened. She mixed in the takedowns quite well on the first. On the feet, it was quite even. Joanna landed one calf. I can't remember that dropped her and took her off her feet. But other than that, nothing really from massive from Joanna, but still, those two were going at it. I think because they're so good at range, they both, whenever they come together, it's exciting. And Weili she was very wild at times, but she kind of, again, had that control, and she wasn't as reckless as she usually is, or that she was in the first fight, I should say. So, yeah, very a good first round. I think because of the wrestling, I gave it to Weili. She got the takedowns and she did very well, and she physically was just so big as well. She seemed to just completely outmuscle Joanna. So, yeah, a brilliant first round. And then in the second round, quite a few times when they would come together and exchange blows, very similar to the first fight. And obviously, there's a few times they, like I said, in the clinch, they kind of would fight in the pocket, and Weili would have some success. It seemed like she's just the harder hitter out of the two, and I think it kind of has more an effect on Joanna than when Joanna hits Weili. But in the second round, we also saw there was a sort of clinch situation. They were punching in the pocket, and Weili landed the spinning back fist, who would hit Joanna, and it seemed to have an effect on her like 2 seconds after, and she was flat out cold. Amazing KO, an amazing shot. It was fully extended. If you actually watch the replay of that spinning back fist back, she literally put everything into it. So, wasn't surprised that Joanna was that cold from that. And yeah, brilliant performance from Weili. Has to be now next for the belt against Carla Esparza. I think she beats her. I don't really see. I maintain. I always say I think the first Rose fight was a bit of a flash knockout, and I don't think that won't happen again, but you don't know. And with Rose in the second fight, it was close, so she's definitely one of the best in the division. She definitely deserves the title fight, and I think, like I said, I think she beats Carla Esparza. I think Carla's very good, but I just think Weili's she's just on the up, and she seems to be getting better and better, and not that old either. So yeah, credit to Weili. And for Joanna, she obviously announced her retirement. She's another one who will be in the Mount Rush for women's MMA. I think you've got to put her and Ronda are definitely at the forefront. I think she definitely put on some amazing fights. She showed the level. I mean, there was one point people calling her best pound for pound fighter in the world, women's and men's, when it was just actually around the time that she lost to Rose. And she's amazing though. I don't remember what was the title defense. The amount of title defense she had. Actually, let me look, because I remember there was a moment where she had like a stupid amount of title defenses. Not stupid amount, but she had quite a lot. So she beat Chloe Gadea, beat Jessica Penn, beat 2016, beat either. Yeah, she had I want to say 7. I can't remember how many it was altogether, but she definitely had. I remember it was quite a record. She held it from 2015 or 17, and she had 5. That was it of defenses, not So a great run from her, and she's a legend 100%, and she definitely will go down as one of the greatest women female fighters of all time. And respect to her, man. I was thinking, where can she really go from here? And I think having a rematch with Whaley after is one of the greatest fights of all time in the first fight. I don't really think there's a better way to go out. Let me rephrase. You could go by winning, but I think if you're after this fight, I think this is probably the perfect moment. A little bit like when I remember Anderson Silva. I felt like he should have retired after the Adesanya fight. I think it was Dan Henderson. He retired after the Michael Bisping fight. I think sometimes you just got to retire at the right moment. I think she's done that, and you don't want to take too much more damage. And she just got knocked out by Rose, but she never really got knocked out like that before. So I think it was new, and I think it's the correct time for her to retire. So respect to her, credit, she's a legend, 100% will go down as one of the best, and she's 100% going to be a Hall of Famer. So 100%, the Boogie Woman definitely had an amazing career, and will I think she'll probably be a coach in the American top team or something. Now I think she seems to have a good mind for the sport. So yep, credit to her. And like I said, Whaley and Carlos Barza is what should happen in the next fight, I think, for Whaley. And yeah, it's hopefully, no disrespect to Carl, I do kind of want Whaley to win that because I do feel like she's very exciting, or the more exciting one to watch. So